All right, so I've been away for a while, obviously, but I've been seeing the things that's going on, and it's not a lot to really talk about. It's a much better feeling when we can talk about boxing and anything else for that matter, and have a more positive conversation based on us having good things to actually have to say. Because, hey, the product is picking up and the right things are happening. Now, there's other things I can talk about, but I want to talk about something specific here. Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul. People are talking about, what does this mean for AJ? What does this say about AJ? Yeah. There was a time we're talking about AJ versus Wilder. We're talking about AJ versus Tyson Fury. But who thought one day we'll see AJ versus Jake Paul? Now, I hear people talking about how AJ can hurt Jake Paul, really seriously hurt him. He's a real fighter. Jake Paul's a YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. But I'm watching Anthony Joshua sit across from Jake Paul being interviewed, and he's giving this kid so much respect. He's talking about Jake Paul like Jake Paul is, he's that guy. He got Usyk training him now, and everything that he's saying. Everything apologetic about what he's saying, and respectfully, this, that, and right. And Jake Paul is sitting there talking like he's some seasoned veteran, like he's the big dog in this fight. If you didn't know who they were and you were tuning in for the first time, you would really think Jake was that guy, and that he was giving Anthony Joshua a shot, like AJ was the one on the come up. And the only thing that Anthony Joshua said is when this guy Cameron asked him during their interview, does he see him is on his level? He said, absolutely not. He says, well, based on the body of work. Everything. He's trying to be such a gentleman to Jake Paul. It's an 8-round fight. People are saying they think it's fixed. There's nothing but negativity, right? And I understand it in this situation, because why are you fighting Jake Paul? Of all people, you're fighting Jake Paul. Like, there's no one else that you could have fought. Like, example, I think people would rather have seen a rematch with Andy Ruiz. I think people would rather have seen him a rematch with Dubois, right? But no, it's a money grab fight. AJ, like he said, it's always a cash grab. It's always, of course, every fight that you have, you're trying to grab as much cash as you can. Of course you are. But the reason that question was asked is simply because look at who Jake Paul is. And his accomplishments are trash in terms of what a real pro fighter is. Imagine if Ali had his resume. If Anthony Joshua had Jake Paul's resume. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm listening to AJ, and I'm wondering if he was told to not say certain things. If he was told to not go off script, and basically, like when he says he's not a YouTuber, and Jake Paul talks about how YouTubers make more money than boxers. See, Jake Paul is not a boxer at heart, first of all. Jake Paul is all about making money however he can, and I can walk into this sport called boxing. I can have them disgrace the sport by putting me in there with guys and trying to build me up to be more than what I am. Well, the fact that he's doing that, the fact that it's been allowed, and he's been groomed into people, every generation sees something for what it is at the time, right? But they don't look at the whole scope of things. So the fact that there'll be one day, okay, where people are going, I wonder who would have won, Jake Paul or Muhammad Ali, or I think Jake Paul would have beat Muhammad Ali, or the fact that will be a thing at some point in time, because these people truly can care less about the sport of boxing. They only care about how much money can we milk these people for. That's all they care about. And if you think that it's anything different, if you think that they really see Jake Paul as some Oh, he's some fierce competitor. No. I told you, coming to Netflix is going to be, let's make as much money as we possibly can. I told you guys this a long time ago. Somebody on my channel asked me, do I think that Turki Al-Sheikh was going to make a difference in boxing? I said, I think there'll be a lane for him and whatever else is going on. And in terms of boxing changing as a whole, no. So when Netflix, the biggest platform in the world, decides they're going to start hosting boxing, Netflix don't want Shakur Stevenson versus Davis. You understand what I'm saying? They don't want him versus. They don't want to see a fight that's just possibly a good fight between guys that they don't see as a huge draw. I'm talking about Keyshawn Davis when I say Davis, not Tank, but they don't want to see a fight. That's why it was Tank Davis versus Jake Paul and not Tank Davis versus Keyshawn Davis or Shakur Stevens. No, they don't want to see that. Listen, this is what I'm telling you guys. Jake Paul worked with the women, right? So we put Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor on the undercard of Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, right? Why? This is going to get more eyes on them. And so now, when we headline with women, we're going to headline with the two women that the world got to see on the same undercard, hoping that going forward, all of these women will be able to hold their weight where, hey man, we got to headline this card, right? You understand what I mean? Where it has to be huge. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what Jake Paul or anybody else wants. If Netflix don't see it as huge, they don't want it. You understand what I'm saying? It's all cash grabs, but to the point of we don't care about the sport of boxing. We care about the spectacle. All we care about is that whatever fight happens, it generates multi-millions of dollars for us. That's all we care about. You guys know that. So now when you look at Anthony Joshua's body of work and the fact that he agreed to an 8-rounder with Jake Paul, and Jake Paul talking all of this, hey, I think he basically made a mistake by choosing by with the catch weight situation, and that's his advantage is his size. And I'm looking at this guy like, wow. So if AJ came in 255, 260 versus coming in at 245, you don't think at 245 he's dangerous enough? This is the same guy that didn't want Hassan Rahman Jr. to be over 225. And he's not even a good fighter. He clearly see what now here's the thing. If there's no fix involved in this, he clearly sees AJ is washed up, ineffective, and basically just not the same fighter. There is no fucking way that this dude, honestly, in his mind, see AJ as a real threat. Like him saying, of course, if I get hit with the right hand, then yeah, I mean, he's gonna knock me out, but I mean, I don't think he can land the right hand. Do you know how trash he has to think AJ is? So even if he's biting off more than he can chew, he's going to find out the hard way, which for Anthony Joshua to even say he understands if he doesn't knock this guy out early and go in there and completely destroy him, he understands where the fans are coming from, he get it. Doesn't mean AJ isn't going to go in there and be a part of a fix. It does nothing for AJ to lose. It does nothing for AJ for it to be a draw. It does nothing for AJ to win a split decision. AJ, if he doesn't go in there and wreck this fucking boy, because here's the thing. AJ, Jake is going to plan on moving and running all night. He ran from old ass Mike Tyson, so he's going to plan on running from AJ all night long, right? Well, we know that AJ fixed his gas tank problem. Jake Paul didn't fix his gas tank problem. And if AJ goes in there and does not don't destroy this boy, he don't go in there and really just beat the shit out of Jake Paul and knock him to the first of all, it shouldn't be a real bad beating because Jake really shouldn't be able to take AJ shots. You understand what I mean? So if AJ's connecting, yeah, it shouldn't be a long night at all. But that's my point. If AJ if he doesn't go in there and Francis Ngannou this motherfucker, If he doesn't go in there and knock this boy out early, all this does for Anthony Joshua, I feel like his core fans are gonna go, I can't mess with AJ anymore. I really can't. For AJ to put his name in this mix and him talking like Jake Paul is some certified boxing genius, like this really, I'm looking at it and I said, nothing surprises me anymore. But if there's a fix at all in this fight, AJ is doing nothing but hurting his own career. And if his attitude is, hey, but I got paid handsomely, hey, it is what it is. I don't personally care. But like I told you, these fighters are all sellouts at some point. All of them. Usyk, all of them. Because even for Usyk to decide that he wants to fight Wilder at this stage, yeah, we can look and say, yeah, but age-wise, they're like the same age or something like that. Or, okay, yeah, cool. But I'm saying the fact that we know Wilder's washed up, Wilder's done, this is even for Usyk to say, hey, man, I just want to be able to say I beat him as well as, Fury and AJ and Dubois. Okay, cool. That's all good. But what I'm saying is, in terms of deserving, no, Wilder doesn't deserve a shot. No, Fabio Wardley, from the way we was told, and listening to Joseph Parker and his team, that if he beats Fabio Wardley, he gets the shot at Usyk. The right thing to do is fight Fabio Wardley. You know what the problem is? Yeah, even though Wilder hasn't been winning all his fights, it's still more attention being drawn if Usyk fights Wilder than if he fights Wardley, who just won a fight. I would rather see him fight Wardley or Atama in terms of the right thing to do and fight. What is Wilder going to do so different? Everybody's hoping he can land that right hand. Wilder won another big cash grab. I'll talk about that later on, but because I do have a video about that. But in terms of what we're seeing, y'all, this is what boxing has become, and this is the sad state of not just this sport, but the mindset of people. Everything is all about money. Nobody cares about what's real. And entertainment, people find entertainment in anything that just isn't worth a damn. No real substance. This is a fight. It's happening. We can say it shouldn't happen and whatever, but it's happening. And I don't really care for it. I won't be tuning in Friday to watch it. I'll be doing whatever I'm doing. If I'm going to talk about it, I may watch it, replay or something, just, so I can do a follow-up video. But in terms of interest in the fight, I have zero interest in watching Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. And the route that he's taking to get where he is, it's like, yeah, let's praise a guy who snuck in the back door. So in other words, all you got to do is get millions of subscribers to your YouTube, to your social media, and somehow that makes you championship material in the boxing ring. I may do a follow-up to this video, I may not. But this is a fight that really, when you look at it, you really got to ask, where does AJ stand in the sport of boxing right now? The fact that he took this fight outside of a cash grab, if he, like I said, doesn't go in and destroy this boy, AJ just shot himself in the foot. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out to people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.